to today's deep dive. We've got a really fascinating stack of research today looking at this massive central paradox. Like, why does a 90-minute game of football, or, soccer if you prefer, command the attention of over half the planet?
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, from pickup games in tiny, narrow alleys to the intense tactical warfare of the World Cup, the obsession is just everywhere.
It really is.
Mm.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because in a world that is completely obsessed with instant gratification and, like, high-scoring sports, how does a game where you might honestly stare at a 0-0 draw for 89 minutes captivate billions of people?
Well, it actually comes down to the psychology of scarcity. I mean, first, there's the incredibly low barrier to entry,
Right,
right?
you
So
just
there's
need a ball in literally any patch of ground.
exactly that gets people playing. But the actual obsession, that comes from the emotional payoff.
Yeah.
Because the scoring is just so incredibly rare, every single attack carries immense weight.
Yeah, it's not like basketball where the scoreboard is just constantly ticking upward every 20 seconds.
No, not at all. It's a total pressure cooker. You're just waiting for that one single release valve.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And what's fascinating here is that the scarcity of scoring creates this massive shared emotional canvas. When a goal finally breaks that tension, the dopamine release is just staggering.
It's explosive.
Right. It instantly unites an entire stadium or, an entire country in this deeply unpredictable euphoria.
And that brings us to the players who actually trigger that euphoria. The sources focus heavily on two modern archetypes, right? Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo.
The artist and the machine.
Exactly. But instead of just repeating that old cliche, the research actually points out how they've forced entire tactical systems to evolve. I mean, you have Messi's spatial awareness forcing defenses to totally reinvent zone marking.
Yeah, and then Ronaldo's biomechanical perfection setting a whole new standard for like late career longevity and fitness.
Right. But here's where I push back a bit. If young players, and honestly the media too, are obsessively worshiping the individual brilliance of those two, doesn't that distract from the actual mechanics of the sport?
How do you mean?
Well, like, doesn't this whole cult of the superstar sort of ruin our appreciation for the team system?
That is a great question. But you really have to realize that at the elite level, individual talent only functions as a weapon within a highly calibrated system.
They can't do it alone.
Not at all. The whole individual genius narrative kind of ignores the heavy lifting done by the rest of the team. I mean, think about the midfield engine dictating the tempo,
Right.
or those high-pressing defensive lines shutting down transition attacks. Messi's creativity is unlocked precisely because his team's structural framework absorbs all that pressure around him.
So the framework creates the space for the magic. And you really see these different frameworks clash when you look at the major global leagues.
Oh, absolutely. The sources highlight their distinct tactical identities quite a bit.
Yeah, like the English Premier League's relentless physical transition game versus La Liga's deeply ingrained cultural philosophy of technical possession.
And then when you throw the best of those distinct tactical cultures into the UEFA Champions League or the peak 4-year cycle of the FIFA World Cup, you are watching a clash of actual sporting philosophies.
The stakes at that level are just astronomical. Yeah. Which actually brings me to the elephant in the room.
Let me guess, VAR.
Yes, the video assistant referee. If the entire appeal of football is that raw, instant dopamine spike of emotion we were just talking about.
Yeah, that unpredictable euphoria.
Right. Doesn't pausing the game for 3 minutes so a referee can draw geometric offside lines on a monitor completely kill the soul of the sport?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, you really have to look at the financial and historical weight of those global stages.
Because there's just so much on the line.
Exactly. When a single goal in a World Cup knockout match can permanently shift a nation's sporting history, the system simply cannot afford a blatantly missed call.
I mean, I get that, but it really disrupts that raw emotion for the fans in the stadium.
It does, yeah. But the sheer scale of the modern game demands some kind of mechanism to reduce those catastrophic errors, to enforce basic fairness.
Yeah, it's a heavy trade-off for sure.
Hmm.
So if you're taking away the core lessons from all this research today, whether you're a seasoned tactical fan or just a young player lacing up your boots, the blueprint seems pretty clear.
Definitely. Success at any level of this game demands relentless daily practice, physical resilience, and just continuous tactical learning.
And fundamentally an understanding that you are just one moving part in an incredibly complex, larger system.
Right. It teaches teamwork, spatial respect, and the confidence to execute under immense pressure.
It really does mirror life in that way. But I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on today.
Always good to end on a question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We started by talking about how the game's beauty stems from its raw, human unpredictability. So as technology like VAR becomes even more clinical and even more integrated with automated systems,
The offsite technology is getting crazy.
it really is.
Yeah.
Will the beautiful game eventually sanitize the very human error that made it so deeply relatable in the first place?